Hello, I'm Aaron from Last Stand Gamers, and today we'll be looking at 5 mods for Arma 2. Over the last few weeks, a lot of subscribers have been writing in saying, I've bought Arma 2 and I've played Dayz, I've done that, that was last week's news. What else is there out there for Arma 2? Well, there's a lot of content. Of course, you can get used to the editor and start making your own, but there's hundreds and hundreds of mods out there. You've just got to go and find them. So today I'm going to introduce 5 mods. I'm going to start with the Vietnam mod, or otherwise known as the Unsung Mod. Takes you back to the 60s to Vietnam and has a whole host of different content, from helicopters to jeeps to tanks and a lot more. This game really gave me the whole variety of jungle warfare, from sneaking up on enemy trenches to dropping massive napalm strikes on the tree line, lighting up the night sky. I have to say this was an experience that I thoroughly enjoyed, and I'm going to play it again very soon. So let's take a look at the content and give it a rating. The majority of the content is very high quality and looks very good, but sadly some of the content looks like it's been left to the last minute, and sadly it's a lot with the NBA equipment. It seems like they really wanted to play as the US because most of the NBA equipment is low texture and doesn't look as nice. So I'm going to give it only a 6 on the content. Next up is the actual community. The community is rather good in this game. Sadly it's really taken a hit recently, and I'm going to give it a 6 for this reason. I found it really hard to find games, and I had to actually create my own and bring a load of people in to actually get this mod. Sadly, it's a great game and more people should play it. And finally, the features. It offers a lot of features. I recommend you pick it up, have a little test. If you like Vietnam, that is definitely the mod for you. Next up, let's go on to I44. So you want a bit of a break from Vietnam, maybe your boots are getting a bit soggy. Well, let's go back into the past to World War II. Obviously, I44 provides you with a massive amount of content, from tanks, from trucks, all perfectly fit in that era of World War II. There's 2 factions in the game. There's the Germans and the Allied forces. The Allied forces are a whole host of different units that took part in World War II, from the Americans to the British and other smaller units. Obviously this comes with 4 maps, so there's a whole variety of content and different ways of battling. The community is absolutely massive, and that's why I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10 for community on this one. They play every weekend, 100 plus battles, D-Day invasions, the whole 9 yards. Absolutely amazing content. The content itself is extremely detailed. There's not many errors I've actually seen in the content at all. The uniforms seem to be perfectly done, the tanks roll absolutely smoothly, no track sort of weird things happening, and it looks absolutely amazing. And finally is the features. Obviously you've got a lot of different features because of World War II, so they've absolutely redesigned a lot of the modules. The aerial combat feels improved. They've got bigger aerial combat, so you'll be shooting at B-17 bombers, long range targets. It's absolutely amazing. The other features are the medical system. The medical system allows you to be revived by different players and works on a similar system to the real one in real life. Obviously with Arma it's rather limited, but it still offers you with the same sort of feeling of World War II. I have to say this is an absolutely amazing mod, and I recommend you download it as soon as you get the chance. Obviously if World War II is not for you, we've got 3 more to go. Moving on, let's take a look at RPG Life, or let's just call it a role-playing mod. There's hundreds and hundreds of different servers that offer this capability, and I'm putting it in this position due to I think it's actually really fun. Obviously there's a lot of situations where people come in and just decide to ruin your day, but the amount of times where there's a funny conversation going on in the car, or something crazy just happens, rules out all these stupid players. So let's have a more detailed look at the content. Majority of these mods don't actually come with much content at all. They might come with a few new cars, a few new parts for the island, maybe a new banking system, other things. It all comes within the modules for these. They've managed to build bank safes, police car sirens, all managed to integrate into the game with very little mod required to download, and that's what I think really makes this game. And obviously the community, due to this, is very large, and there's so many different ways of playing it. You can play legally, illegally, you can rob banks, take in hostage situations, and obviously you can just have a rave, and that's what makes this game so interesting, is there's so many different possibilities. And all them people that are complaining out there about Dayz and talking about, oh, why don't you be nice and stop, well, why don't you go and play this? And this is based before a sort of apocalypse, you could say, where actually people will not shoot at you for no reason. They have to have a reason or they get kicked from the server. So all you nice people out there that don't want to shoot people and want to play Dayz, well, put Dayz down, maybe pick up this and have a rave on a beach somewhere. I don't know what else to comment on that one, apart from saying it's a rather good mod and I recommend you check it out. But moving on from that, Before Dayz, there was a mod called the Chernarus-Apocalypse, and instead of Dayz putting players against each other, the Chernarus-Apocalypse makes players work together with key features like one player having one item that the other player needs. Instead of simply killing each other, you actually have to work together to navigate around the area, as you all have different information on where stashes are and other things. It's very story driven and makes the players work together really well to achieve the objectives. Let's have a look at the actual content that you actually have to download. Well, here comes the amazing part. You don't actually have to download anything to play this, because it's all built off scripts and modules, and that's why I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. So there's no reason for your friend or some of your groups of mates to say, oh, I'm not downloading that, that's too big, because there's nothing to download. You just stick the mission on and you're good to go. So let's have a look at the community. Basically, the community is completely dead for this due to Dayz wiping it out, but that is no issue due to the majority of the games back in the day were played on the independent consoles with your actual self and some of your teammates, so that's not a problem at all. And as I've said before, the features are a series of a death system. Basically, once you get scratched once by a zombie, you become infected. If you get scratched again, you become further infected with a countdown timer, and once this countdown timer begins, it means that you're going to become a zombie. And at any moment, a player could turn into a zombie and instantly start infecting you when they've been infected twice. That's why it's best to tell your friends and keep them alive. Let's move on. Let's have a look at Ace 2. Basically, if you thought Arma 2 was a hardcore military simulator, this pumps it up to the next level. This has a realistic medical system and a whole variety of other features, such as changing your car tyres and other things that you may take for granted because you play Dayz. But this game actually redefined the whole amount of little features such as that made it playable. What you're going to find very soon though is that after you've played Dayz, you've put it down, you've got a game, and you've got a bit of a community here. You've got a massive community in Ace, and basically once you've played your Dayz and the time is over, you're just stuck with a military simulator. So why don't you play that and get some practice in? And also for them players that have been playing Dayz and thinking, oh, I don't want to play Arma, it's a boring military simulator. Well, it's not. It's actually quite an interesting one, and there's a whole variety of PvP maps, and there's also a PvP roleplay, and basically you take on the role of a Taliban fighter and put on a funny accent and so on. And basically you guard your drug stash, and American troops come in and you have to negotiate with them, and there's a whole variety of sort of crazy antics that go on. And Ace Mod really allows for that, especially with its new radio feature. What you'll find yourself, and you'll end up scrolling through the channels and you accidentally pick up the US channel and they're telling that they're going to land at position Alpha, Bravo or whatever, and you go and intercept that, and it's just a great feeling when the actual technology has actually aided you more than you actually just seeing it and shooting at it. It's a really good feature, and that's why I'm going to give it, in general, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Sadly, it didn't get 10 out of 10 due to it just lacking some core features that the AI by now should have been touched up on. But I have to thank Ace for that. I played it for many years, and I played it back in Arma 1, and I have to say it was absolutely amazing then, and they've done an even better job in Arma 2, and I say keep up the good work for Arma 3. Talking about Arma 3, let's have a look at it now. Arma 3 has made a lot of promises, and probably you Dayz fans out there are probably going, oh my god, there's going to be a Dayz in Arma 3? Well, I've heard there is going to be, but I've also heard that they want to go separate and go rogue. Would he really benefit from going rogue, going on his own? Because Arma 2 is a massive part of his game, and without that Arma 2 element, you're just stuck with, I don't know, you're just stuck with a few sheets of code. You're not even stuck with a proper game. I don't think he could personally make it on his own without the Arma 2 or Bohemia support. But that is up to him completely, and you obviously don't have to post your comments in that below. So how do you feel about Dayz, and how do you feel about Arma? Is there any mods you enjoy playing? That's what I want to find out about as well, because every time again, people surprise me. They might post me a link and I'll go, oh, that's actually a really good mod, I should have put that in there. Obviously, keep your comments coming, and thanks for the great support on the subscriber side of things. And for you guys that are actually playing Arma and have played Arma before, then good on, keep it up. And keep up the work. And if you guys are just playing it for Dayz, well, that's fine as well. Obviously, time will come when you realise that you want to play some military simulator and you've got it right there on your table. But that time will come, don't you worry. So let's have a look at some of the Arma 3 features. Arma 3 have promised a 3D editor, but they've actually revoked that promise now and said that it's not going to be possible. But I have to thank the Dayz players as well, because by the update in funding for Bohemia Interactive, they've implemented the engine number 3. So I thank you for watching, and that was it.